Speaking of driving, right now at 4:30, President Biden today said he is taking steps to try to bring down the rising price of gasoline. This morning, he announced the release of 50 million barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. The move is being coordinated with several other nations, including the UK, China, Japan, and India. Joining us this afternoon to talk more about it is the president of the Gasoline and Automotive Service Dealers Association of America, Michael Fox. Mike, thank you very much for being here with us this afternoon. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Can you explain a little about what this means potentially for people when it comes to gas? Because I know everybody just wants to see the price go down. Could that happen?
Well, unfortunately, this is one of the best political theaters that's out there. It's more for show than what it's actually going to do. The price of gasoline, wholesale-wise, was starting to come down. It's that time of the year when it does go down. And so the president, timed it perfectly so that it would coordinate with that reduction and make what he did with the Strategic Petroleum Reserve was the real reason that gas prices came down. The facts are simple. We use about 20 million barrels of crude oil a day. He released 40 million. It's a 2-day supply. How much of an impact is that going to have on gas prices?
So you don't anticipate this having any kind of long-term impact?
Absolutely not. The president needs to reverse course on his policies, and then you'll see reductions in gas prices of almost 75 cents to $1 a gallon. We will get back to the prices that we had before.
What do you think would bring the price down? What would your solution be?
Well, let me just tell you what happened by executive order and what's happening now. The executive order stopped the Keystone Pipeline. Why is that important? It's important because when you put 100 million barrels of crude oil in a pipeline in Canada at 8 o'clock in the morning, at 8:01 a.m., it comes out at the terminal, the refinery in Texas, to make gasoline. If you need 100 million barrels of crude oil today that is now coming from OPEC and foreign countries, it goes into a cargo carrier, has to come across the ocean, then get offloaded to the terminal, and then go through the refinery. So it's very easy to see why there's those additional costs. We were energy independent. We produced more crude oil than anybody else in the world, and now we're back to energy dependent on foreign countries.
Well, I know there's a lot of debate about this politically, of course, right now, but when you look even year to year, gas is up right now. Wouldn't you agree? Because more people are driving. A year ago, people were working from home. We were in the throes of the pandemic before the vaccine was even available. So it makes sense the price would be higher right now.
No, look, you're 100% right that demand is up, but the amount of the demand that's up doesn't justify the spike that we see in gasoline. Of course, we hear that, and listen, I'm not pro-Republican, pro-Democrat, I'm pro-right policies for our country. Also, when you look at the president blaming the oil companies and saying he wants the FTC to investigate, I'm the last person who defends the major oil companies. I represent the small mom and pop retailers. There is no gouging taking place. Why? There's no declared national emergency. An oil company right now could charge $100 a gallon for gasoline. It might be outrageous, but it's not illegal.
Okay. Mike Fox, thank you for joining us this afternoon. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.